This is just whole house carbon monoxide safety testing. This is a service that we offer, and I think there's a few other companies that do offer it, but we can come out and test any appliance that is a combustion appliance, test depressurization, combustion air, proper venting, make sure the furnace is tuned up, and more. So, questions?
I'm just wondering the candles, how safe those are, and does it matter whether it's a solar candle or other?
As far as I know, both candles and like your range top, you do get like there's just enough free air to get adequate combustion. If it's smoky, I'd be concerned. When it comes to candles, now you're getting more into Paula's world where it's other chemicals that are being produced. So I'd be a little concerned about that. But as far as carbon monoxide, it's just a one little candle, so generally it's not, even if it is producing a little bit, it might not be a lot for the entire volume of air. Any other questions?
Are animals more sensitive because for the most part they're smaller and separated? I mean, are they more sensitive than adults?
I'm sure some animals are. Smaller animals, canary in a coal mine. A lot of times, the birds, parrots, they'll go first, and then people will say, "Oh, I noticed that my parrot is dead, and I'm not feeling well. What's going on?" The problem with carbon monoxide too is it creates confusion. So now you don't know what's going on. You don't quite remember what the right thing is to do. So yes, my little dog here, I want to make sure that she's healthy too. So I think that.
What's a safe way of disposing of old CO detectors? Because we're talking now a lot of material is
Yes.
replaced every 3 years.
I don't fully know the answer to that question. I believe that if you dispose of them in the way that you would other electronics, yeah, I think that would probably be the best way. I don't believe that there's any mercury. Don't quote me on that.
I think the city, your city will take those and recycle them. It's like batteries.
What do you think about the Amish, that they have a program where the Amish are making fine furniture out of like a space heater situation and everything, and yet I think those are still combustible and everything else. Do you ever still commercials or information about that?
You know what, I would just, anytime that there's a combustion appliance, I'd make sure that you have a functioning carbon monoxide, make sure it's tuned up. That reminds me, carbon monoxide is actually a pretty significant health concern worldwide, especially in third world countries, where the only source of cooking and home heating is a fire in their house. The World Health Organization, it's one of the big things that they're trying to tackle is to help get this knowledge out.
So you said you have to change the sensors or the whole thing every couple of years. Is that, I have one that's still in the package that was given to me like 5 years ago or something, but I have a hardwired one, and I was like, oh, I don't need this. And so is it, once it's been used, it goes, or if it's even still in the package and never been used, that's no longer working after it's up more than 2 or 3 years?
So I'm not quite sure what the mechanism is that causes that sensor to saturate over time. If it's in an airtight package, it may be okay. If it's not in an airtight package, carbon monoxide detectors are not that expensive. And again, it's cheap insurance for your safety.
You said that applies to both the hardwired kind as well as the battery?
Any carbon monoxide detector, hardwired, battery operated, plug-in, low level, they all use very similar sensor technologies.
A couple questions. Well, the first one is, what do you recommend, round ducts or square ducts for new installations?
There's different applications, and both will work properly if designed properly. Round ducts tend to have a little bit less restriction, so if you can't go round, it's also easier to install, but both will work just fine.
Okay, the second question is, does air quality do anything with radon gas too?
Radon is, we don't have too much radon in our area, but we do. So I'm not the expert on radon, but it is something that can come into your house and proper ventilation can take care of it.
And there's a little $10 kit or something that furnishes.
Yeah. Any other questions for any of the three of us?
Other questions from the board?
We don't do air duct cleaning. As Paula said, after you have construction in your home, it's not a bad idea to get your ducts cleaned. If you are moving in, somebody may have had a cat before. As Joe said, it might be a good reason to get your ducts cleaned. But once they're cleaned, if your ducts are sized properly and if you have a good air filtration system, the ductwork doesn't create air pollutants. It is simply a conduit for them to get from point A to point B. So if your ducts are not sized properly and you could get some stuff growing inside, but if they are sized properly, everything, when the furnace is operating, everything will remain airborne. It will go through that filtration system. So it's something that you may need to do once or twice, but it's not something you need to do every 2 years or something like that.
What are dogs?
That's Zuri.
Pardon me?
That's Zuri.
Zuri.
Z-U-R-I, yes.
All right.
And so here's some resources.